if you study fine art, it will really further develop your numismatic eye. And especially if you go and you study ancient art primarily. And so a lot of these, like even the Naxos tetradrachm was said to been copied or maybe even done by the artist Duris, who actually produced Attic vases in the 5th century BC. And so a lot of his satyrs kind of look like the archaic Dionysus. And so if you go and you study some of the Greek vases from the period and some of the great artists, you'll see the same, and you realize what the greatest, or the sculpture from the period, Greek and Roman, you can really see that portraiture, that the way that the eye or the nose or the chin is done, the way it pops on a coin, it starts looking like the best art starts looking like sculpture on the coin. And so once you develop your eye for what is great art, then finding great art in coins becomes much, much easier. So anytime you go to a museum, guys, and again, developing your eye and having art transcend from the antiquities to the coins, it really does pay dividends for you long term. The coins tell their story, but the art is the same. And so I think it's really important to know how to have your eye and develop over time. A lot of people will look at coins. One question somebody asked me the other day is, why do you have a dealer represent you in auction? Well, if somebody comes to me and they say, is this a nice coin? My eye is much more developed than somebody who's been doing this for a year or two. And so I'm going to see something in what I know is out there because of the decades of doing this that your eye is not going to know about. And so you'll, as a collector, if you do it yourself, you may find yourself buying coins that you're going to later regret buying because you didn't realize that there were better coins out there. So besides the other reasons why people use a dealer, that's, piggybacking off of their eye is another reason beyond all the other attributes you get, like hiding. Very high net worth people like to hide themselves from the auction houses, and other people, they don't want anybody to know that they own these things. So I protect them because the bill of sale is through my company, not to the person, so they hide themselves. I also deal with customs and being able to deal with all the pitfalls of that. So there's lots of good reasons, but my whole point of that was to talk about the eye and the fact that my eye is going to be much better. And I now have clients that I've worked with for 25 years who now have a good eye because we've worked together for so long and their eye has developed over time. And if you need to speed up that process, go to museums, guys. And you probably do anyway. If you're into ancient coins, you probably already go to museums. But really study that sculpture, really study that portraiture and that artwork. And go to look at the Greek vases as much as the sculpture, because the Greek vases will tell tons about the style. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the die cutters were those artists or derived from those groups.
And let's face it, it's like a second opinion is usually valuable. If you have somebody who has a background in art, whether it be purchasing art or creating it, I think either one of those are really valuable insights. And they will, just through experience, give you a viewpoint that you probably didn't consider. And that's where all the money is made and lost.
Yeah, well, some people just want to do it themselves. They think they're saving money, but they're not, honestly.
Right.
There's some collectors that are really fantastic at doing this, but they've maybe been doing it for a really long time, or they're just a natural at it. Some people who are into collecting other art forms, not coins, and then they move into coins because they already have that insight and that artistic eye, they probably would do okay. But again, you don't know what's out there unless you study, or you look at lots of catalogs, or you go and you look at the auctions to see what's out there, to see how good a coin style can get. I still see coins today and I'm like, holy cow, I didn't know that could exist that nice. And so it does happen even to the best of us. I heard my dad not long ago, within the last 5 years, and they said, are you going to ever retire? He said, no. And they said, well, are you still excited about numismatics? And he said, yes. And you know why?
That's why I'm not retiring.
And he said, because I still, after doing this for 60 years, I still see things every day that I've never seen before. And I also believe, one of the reasons why I think I have a leg up on a lot of numismatists as far as artistic quality is because I started out in antiquities. And I did antiquities. I've done antiquities for my whole 30 years, but I started working in the ancient coin field 20 years ago. And so the first 10 years, I just did antiquities. And I developed a pretty good eye for that. And so I came from a different avenue. And so
there's a lot of sculpture in the antiquities end. There is a lot of it. A lot of
A lot of sculpture, and also I dealt with a lot of Greek vases. And so you do develop a good eye, and that does help you develop good characteristics of what you're looking for in an ancient coin. And so I think that's important as well.